Season's greetings to all. My name is Jonathan Beard. I'm a spokesperson for the Columbus Coalition for Responsive Government. The Coalition is a citizen ballot initiative designed to promote fair and competitive elections in Columbus and really to maintain the benefit of our democracy for future generations. I'm here to discuss a serious issue about the nationwide arena and the public purchase of that arena. If you bear with me, I want to talk a little about the holiday season. You know, in the holiday season, we often get together with family and friends, and we celebrate our generations. We bring together grandparents and grandbabies, and it gives us a chance really to think about generations past and the sacrifices they have made in support of our democracy. So from Bunker Hill to the beaches of Normandy to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, previous generations have sacrificed, and their sacrifices, their bloodshed in some cases, has sanctified our ballots, and we need to treat them responsibly. Our generational promise to our children needs to be that we pass along a more secure and a more healthy democracy to them than our parents passed along to us. We can't, through our complacency or through our indifference or just through comfort, assume that our democracy is going to continue to flourish as it has. It takes work. Democracy is like a muscle. You've got to exercise it or it goes stagnant and gets weak. So we're here as citizens working on our democracy. Having said that, we also need to be aware of the debt that we pass on to our children and their children. And that's an issue that we're having right now with the nationwide arena that we need to bring to your attention. A deal to purchase the arena that was struck behind closed doors in private among a handful of business leaders and political elite. And it looks now like we're going to be stuck with the tab for their decisions. You may know that in 1997 the voters overwhelmingly rejected opportunity to purchase an arena and pay for an arena that would house a hockey team. This was the fifth time and since the late 1970s that the voters have turned down this. To get around the vote of the public is that they structure this to where the city and the county, through a series of annual leases, are essentially financing the purchase of nationwide arena. So the leases pay for the arena. Well, how do the city and county pay for the leases? The city and county are paying for the leases from their portion of a statewide tax against Ohio's casinos. So each year that money is distributed among the cities and the counties, and we're taking the proceeds of that gross sales tax on arenas and we're applying it to the arena purchase. So in effect, the public is now paying the rent that the Columbus Blue Jackets are not, because part of this deal was the Blue Jackets would have free rent. However, the projections of gambling volume in Ohio were grossly overstated, and both Columbus and Franklin County now face shortfalls in the amount of money that they are collecting to pay down that debt through the lease payments. Since the payments are short, we have a deficit in payment. That deficit each year gets added to the term of the lease agreement, increasing both the cost and the term of this long-term lease that's supposed to last through 2039, but now looks like it will go longer. In 2013, which is the first year of this scheme, Columbus is short $766,000. That's 23% below what's needed to break even and to pay down the bonds fully in this year. Because the money will not be paid in 2013, it will be paid sometime after 2039, and through the magic of compound interest, something we look forward to in our retirement accounts, it becomes an additional $2.3 million over that term that will be charged to our children and our children's children. And unless there's a sharp rise of 25% or more in the amount of casino gambling that goes on in Ohio, deficits like this are projected to happen each and every year through the term of the bond. So each and every year there's another deficit gets added to the back end of the bond that again our children and our children will have to pay with compounded by our calculation. If the subsequent year deficits are anything like the deficit in 2013, by 2039 we will have accumulated a deficit of $97 million and added more than 7 years to the term of the bond. That means for an average stadium arena has a life of 30 years. We'll be paying well into 45 years on this facility. And our children will be paying for the purchase of a facility that is obsolete and that in the meantime has had to have tens of thousands of dollars of upgrades to it. We struggle to understand the wisdom of the public sector purchasing what was developed as a private business enterprise and a private business asset. We're bailing out a hugely profitable private corporation, Nationwide Insurance, which through the first 3 quarters of 2013 reported profits of over $1 billion. That's in 3 quarters this year. Let's put that in comparison. By comparison, the entire budget of the City of Columbus, the operating budget, is under $800 million. So Nationwide's profits are 25% more than the entire city budget. And that budget includes police, fire, roads, streets, bridges, water, sewer, parks, recreation, and everything else the city does on an operating basis. So we struggle to understand why the public is now bailing out a corporation which has done a great job with the development and which is very wealthy. And in effect, through this bailout of the very rich by the citizens of Columbus, what we've done is we have privatized private business profits and we've socialized their losses. And that's not fair, some of us think. This deal never should have been cut in private by the public officials who are supposed to represent our best interests. Like every other long-term public financing, it should have been subject to a vote. You know, the type of vote that we saw this fall with issues 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the politicians wanted to avoid a vote. Perhaps since the citizens have voted this down 5 times in the past and they didn't want to take that risk. And they found a way to get it done without involving the public through the appropriation of the casino money into a lease. But now the public's in a bind. Without our approval, the city and the county committed to a deal that's unraveling in the very first year, and that will send huge costs onto our next generation. It is time to revisit this agreement, and the coalition filed sufficient signatures to get the question of arena funding on the ballot in May. However, the politicians are fighting this effort. They are trying to keep it off the ballot, potentially saddling our children and their children with $100 million in more debt. So this holiday season, let's think about what we want to pass on to our children beyond the gifts and the love. Let's think about our responsibility to our predecessors to pass down a healthy democracy and to avoid passing down debt to our children to pay. Thank you for your concern. The Columbus Coalition for Responsive Government can be reached on Facebook or on our website at www.columbuscoalition.info. We wish you a very happy holiday season, and we hope to work on these fundamental issues of truth and fairness with you in the coming new year. Good day.